Yes, indeed. It's Ringside Report MMA. Welcome to the show. Tonight we're previewing UFC Vegas 69, Blanchfield versus Andrade. We're recapping all the fallout from UFC 284. Was Islam Makhachev cheating when he beat Alex Volkanovski? We're live. We got AJ. We got Freddie. We got Dave. We got a show.
Let's go!
Indeed.
AJ.
AJ?
Oh, yeah.
What's happening with AJ? Where's Fred? There's Fred. Do we have
What's up?
AJ? Is AJ okay?
I'm back. I'm okay, man.
Fred, what happened? Did we lose AJ?
Well, I don't know. Just as you were saying, AJ, he got up and he went away from the camera, so I wasn't sure.
Nah, I'm okay, dude. In case I have to, run out in a hurry, it's because, man, it's been a rough couple of days. I've had gastro for the last couple of days. The whole family got it. I mean, everybody got this shit. And literally speaking, it's a shitty experience, dude.
Yeah.
No doubt about it, man. It's horrible.
Right.
It's horrible, man. But you know what the worst part is that, man, there was a
Is
lot
you're
of people
talking
around
about
me
it.
near Super Bowl. You know, so
What?
hope Johnny's okay, man. That's all I can
Jeez.
say.
Yeah.
Man, it's been rough, man. I'm telling you, this is crazy.
Well, I
And you
saw
know
you
what? I
on
just found out.
Saturday, right?
You saw me Saturday.
Didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
For UFC?
Yeah, you did.
Weren't you here on Saturday? Didn't we spend all
Yes,
evening
of course.
together on Saturday watching the
Yeah,
fights right
yeah.
here in this very room?
Maybe I got it from Dave.
I don't know. I don't think so because I haven't had any gastro virus like you're
Yeah,
describing.
you would have.
Although,
Yeah, you would have.
although on Tuesday, I had a touch of something.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little sick for a bit, but it passed. I think it was something I ate. I
Dude,
don't
this
think it
was like The Exorcist 4 over here, man. Everybody
that
went
wasn't
down.
what I
Like,
had.
I'm talking, so,
Well,
damn.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
I
you're
mean,
okay,
like-
AJ. You look a little green. Honestly, your color is a bit green.
Am I?
Yeah, you're usually not that color. I don't know if it's the
It's because
lighting
my
or your
background- it's my
sickness. I don't know,
background.
but
Yeah.
you look green.
Well, thank you. I feel like Connor. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I got
He's
a new
the alien
background. Maybe
invasion.
that's why.
Mm.
Well, that's George. That's George. If we're gonna talk about aliens, but yeah, it's my background. It's more greenish. Maybe I gotta change the color on my light.
Well, we were talking about
But
aliens
anyways.
on Saturday night when we were watching UFC 284. Oh, there's AJ fully greened out now. I think we're trying to adjust AJ's color so he doesn't look as green. We're trying to do you a favor, AJ. The production team is on it, trying to make you look less green. Although
Thank you.
you still look a little weird, but
Well, I am
maybe that's just
Italian.
your
We are
face.
green, man.
that might
know?
just be your face.
Virtual makeup.
Thanks everybody for tuning in to our UFC 284 watch along on Saturday night. We had good numbers here on the channel. AJ is here. We had a great show on Saturday. We had fun. AJ had a Super Bowl party on Sunday, and shout
feel
out
bad
to
for
Angelo Contagonis, who's in the chat
Poor
right
Angelo.
now. Shout out Angelo. Angelo actually attended AJ's Super Bowl party, which is pretty cool, and Johnny North was there too. Like AJ was having the
good time,
whole
man.
Ringside Report team at his place for the Super Bowl, minus Dave and Fred, obviously, because we couldn't make it.
You ditched me, man.
But
That's what you
AJ,
did.
well, I didn't ditch you. I go to the same Super Bowl party for like the past 10 years now, and my boy Rosy Face makes the best chicken wings I've ever had in my life. What was the spread of your place, AJ? Because when I went to Rosy Face's, he had mini sodas for me, mini root beers, all right, mini
Nothing
Cokes,
compared.
all right. He had chicken wings, loads of chicken wings. He had pulled pork sandwiches that he made, pulled pork. And he had chili
I'm
that was
surprised.
delicious, like the feast at my boy Rosy Face's house. My God, I've been going to a Super Bowl party every year for,
Yeah, man.
like
listen,
I said,
man,
maybe 10
listen.
years now, a long time, and he does it big. So I don't know what you had, what your spread
man.
was,
You
AJ,
talked-
but the
you
Super
talked
Bowl
Angelo,
party that
man.
I went to was major.
Man, you don't fool around at AJ's place, man. AJ is gonna bring down the house. You could tell Angelo, man. Even Angelo was like, done. Oh, it hit me hard too, AJ. What the hell, man? Oh man, everybody got gastro, I think.
But you had plenty
All
of
to
food.
say-
What were you serving?
you name it, from Italian sausages to hot dogs. We had like avocado made from scratch, Italian pizza.
Avocado
we had, like,
made from scratch? Isn't it just a vegetable?
Well, it was, but not only was it made from scratch, it was made to perfection. We even had the eagles like written out on the avocado spread. We had all kinds of stuff, man. You name it. Chicken wings. We had like cheesecake. It was like happening.
Wow.
And then
Well,
I feel
that sounds
bad
good.
after all. Listen, we really had a good time. It's too bad you guys weren't there. Next time, hopefully you'll come. But I know Rosie's is you got a little bit
pretty
more
good.
packing over there. Yeah, there's a little bit more like festivities happening there in some sense. But we had a
What do you
pretty
mean?
good time, man.
Oh, actually, Rosy Face did go all out.
Hard?
He was like, by the end of the
man.
night, he was like living the life. He took the next day off of work. He was
That
ready
guy's
to
the best.
party.
That guy I've never seen. Listen, he's a teacher. Like, that's his job. And let me
Yeah.
tell you, man, I wish I had a teacher like Rosie, because he is
Man.
one wild animal. In fact, he's so wild that he's banned from this show. He's not allowed to be on this show.
He's the
I'm
best.
telling you, he's crazy. But
He's
all
the
to say
best.
is we had a really good spread, a great night. Then, unfortunately, Angelo got a ticket. Some
What?
dick neighbor of mine. Yeah, I think some dick neighbor called the city on Angelo. In French we call it an asshole. Unfortunately that's what he is. Yeah.
AJ doesn't speak any language anymore. Well, sorry to hear.
We don't
that-
speak the
Français
same
s'appelle
French.
an asshole.
Wow,
What?
AJ, I'm really disappointed that I missed your Super Bowl party. Parking tickets and gastrovirus. I mean, I really missed out on something there. I'm glad I
And the
didn't
Eagles
go
lost,
to that
man.
party. God, it sounds
Damn.
terrible.
No, we had
Sounds
a good
terrible.
time, man.
I mean,
No, it
Johnny
was a
North
fun
was
night.
there and Angelo, so that's cool. And apparently your sister Tanya was there too, so I'm sure it was all right. But you were there and Gastro, like, I don't know. AJ
I don't know,
and
man. It was
Gastro.
weird. Hey,
Plus, I
listen.
spent Saturday night with AJ, like AJ 2 nights in a row. I don't know.
Listen, and the
much
craziest
AJ.
part of all this is that there's some crazy gastrovirus going across Canada. It's like going rampant. I sent you guys the link, man. I was like, shit, man. Something's going down, literally.
Okay. Enough
All
of
to
this.
say is
I mean,
that the
Castro's
Eagles
there
lost.
every year, man.
Things happen.
I know, but this is a bad one, Freddie. This is like Exorcist cat.
All right.
Listen, I was gonna say the Eagles
Dr.
lost,
AJ.
man. I don't know if you were going for the Eagles, man, but Angelo was in a. He
No,
had
I
a
bet on
rough
the
night.
Chiefs. I bet on the Chiefs and I won.
Damn it!
I bet on the Chiefs to cover plus 1.5, and they
It was
covered
a
by
shitty
winning.
call.
I bet on the Chiefs and I won
ref-
on the Chiefs
Listen,
because I
the
don't
ref-
watch football. I don't really like football.
Thanks.
And yeah, of course AJ's too much for me. I don't like football really, but I watch one football game a year because Rosy Face has the best food there. So to make it more interesting while we're watching football, I like to bet on it. And I figured the Chiefs, every football game I watch, like every Super Bowl, the Chiefs seem to be in it. They seem like some sort of dynasty. So I just went with them because dynasty
ah, screw them.
seems to
They
work
got,
in
they got
football,
lucky,
you know?
man. I'm gonna tell you something.
You had the
That
Patriots
call-
there for a while.
Nah, man.
And now the Chiefs seem to be a dynasty. I mean, they've won. What has he won now? Like 3 Super Bowls? That Patrick Mahomes guy? He's 2? Well,
Yeah,
he
dude,
seemed,
but
he
a
was
cheap
in
call,
3
man. It
or
was such a
4.
great game.
He's in
Such a
3.
2 and
great
1.
game, man.
Two and 1. Still, I don't know. I went with him. I figured they'd win. It was a close game at the end. There was that holding call that people were kind of wondering about. I'm not sure. I don't know the rules of football. What the
100%
hell do I
wasn't
know?
holding,
I'm
man.
an MMA
Listen,
guy.
man, you
But,
know what
it was
holding is
good.
in MMA.
Yeah,
That
whatever.
Was
It was cool
like,
because it was cool because I won my money, AJ. All right, I don't care really about how football goes, but I won. I won my bet, so bada bing, bada boom.
hey, Guru the Pig, man. Welcome, my friend.
Shout
Listen,
out
all
to Guru
say
the
is,
Pig. And I,
I like
don't
that
know
name,
who
man.
you're talking about. Did I see Hella Mark Harley
Mark
on
Harley.
MMA Holes? I don't know what any of those things are, so no, I did not see that.
I have to check it out.
No, you're good. I think you're good, AJ. Just tell me how
You
you
know,
felt about the Eagles losing. You were sad? Angelo was sad? Sorry, Angelo.
Angelo was super sad. Everybody was sad except Johnny. Johnny was a Chiefs fan, man. He's always
Go
a Chiefs
Chiefs.
fan. You know? Listen, man, it was a cheap call, and it changed the game completely. Obviously, you know you're done at that point. It was a bullshit call, like Angelo said. It's bullshit. And the thing is that it was such a great game, probably one of the best Super Bowl games I've seen in the longest time. Going into that, the ref decided who was going to win at that point. You know, it's kind of like Adelaide Bird, like judging at any of the MMA events. That's what you're going to get. You know that your guy who's probably won all 3 rounds, almost got a submission, is going to get like the call against him. That's exactly what it was. We got Adelaide Bird on the football field calling that play, and the Eagles lost. It was a cheap call, dude. And even
This is
Chiefs
what
fans
AJ
know
does
that.
for every sport, eh? Every sport.
You hate the referees.
Yeah, but
Oh,
every sport, right? Every sport, it be it football or MMA, if AJ's team or AJ's guy doesn't win, well, he would have won, except for he was doing really good in the 32 seconds of the fight until the 33-second mark when he got knocked out. He would have won had he not been knocked unconscious. He would have won had the referees not. He would have won had the judges. He would have won did he not get submitted in 50 seconds. He would have won if there's always excuses and blaming anybody but your favorite, AJ. It crosses over to football. It starts in MMA and it just works everywhere with you. Hey, I didn't realize that it wasn't just a combat sports thing. When you talk any sport, if the team you're rooting for doesn't win, you just blame the refs or blame some sort of outside curse.
Don't get mad at me, man. I'm just telling you as it is. It was a cheap call. Like Angelo just called it out, man. You know, I'm just saying that there's some things in sports.
I think it was a bad call.
Let it go.
I think it was a bad call, but like in any sport, one call doesn't make a game. The game is 60 minutes,
what do you
man.
mean it was done at that point, dude? They were tied, man. It was like that call.
Yeah,
was
but I
pretty
mean,
crucial.
Yeah, it's a crucial call. I agree and all that.
That's like
man,
how
it was
got screwed with the penalty kicks.
Shit happens. Get over it. I mean, we're almost like 5-6 days later, man. I don't understand why you're so mad.
Yeah, AJ, stop being so mad about football. I was pretty happy about it because I won the money. Because once that happened, I was like, oh, they got a first down. Here we go. We're close to the thing. They're going to run out the clock, and they're going to kick it or touchdown, and it's going to be all good for Big Dave.
My favorite moments, and I don't know, man, I used to like football. I still do, man. I don't really follow it no more. My favorite moments were the singing, whether it was Babyface for America. I love that song. After that country guy did a great job on the national anthem. Chris Stapleton. Rihanna.
Yo, you see that coach crying? Man, when the Eagles coach was crying for the guy singing the anthem, I said right there, I was like, great. Eagles are losing for sure. You're crying at the anthem, you're a bitch mate, and you're losing. Your head is not in the game. You're a baby. Imagine crying at a national anthem. Could you ever imagine yourself hearing the Canadian national anthem and bursting out into tears like a little baby?
About the moment.
The moment. Well, and you see the other coach, big old Andy Reid, that boy's not crying. He's got his game face on. He's ready to go. Mahomes, I saw Mahomes during the anthem, and he was just like hyped on the sideline, like, let me play. This coach for the Eagles is like, America, Super Bowl, I love it so much.
Yeah, right,
what
man.
A baby. What a big bitch.
Whoa, easy there, Dave.
He's a loser.
Dave. No, Dave.
Well, loser.
No.
Crying for the anthem. What a nerd. Who cries for an
that's
anthem?
what I call. I do, man.
Well, you're a big baby, too.
It was beautiful, man. Like I say, that's the best moment in the Super Bowl.
No, Rihanna was the best moment of the Super Bowl.
Did you see my take?
What are you talking about?
She was lip syncing.
So?
She was lip syncing, man.
I agree with Howard Stern, man. She and I never agree with Howard Stern, but she was mostly lip syncing all along, and I don't know, man. I'll give her props for doing it while pregnant. So they're like, that's props.
And she's scared of heights.
Fight had like 6 months.
She didn't look scared of heights to me.
Well, apparently she is scared of heights, and she still did it. And the reason that they did it on that elevated thing was because the heavy stage would have smushed the field and ruined the grass, so they had to do it elevated. But Rihanna's scared of heights, sucked, but she did it anyways while pregnant, and she danced around like a champion. Rihanna was amazing.
She didn't dance, bro. I danced more than that, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but
AJ is like a
here's
great
the thing.
dancer.
Rihanna could make very little effort dancing. She makes it look so fantastic. I mean, you don't like that stuff? I loved it. I thought she was... Beautiful,
Nah, man.
brilliant,
Nah,
fantastic,
nah.
classic performance from Rihanna.
Wasn't too
I'm
crazy
seeing
for
a
her
lot of
sniffing
heat.
her
I don't
hand
know
also.
for who.
For her sniffing her hand.
Oh, I
yeah, I
didn't
saw
even
that,
notice
man.
that.
Yeah, I noticed that. That was pretty interesting.
Oh, good for her.
You know,
Good for
a
her.
little
She can do it.
controversial there.
Like Rihanna can do no wrong. I think Rihanna's fantastic. AJ doesn't know who she is. I had to tell him about her like 2 years ago. AJ
I
found
know
out
they
who
brought it.
Rihanna
They brought
is.
it up. They brought it up at the show too. They're like, "Do you remember who it is?" And I screwed up. When I went live, I said Brianna.
Yeah, you
And
don't
they're
know.
like,
You don't know who she
Rihanna.
is.
Well, I know who she is now, sort of.
Beyonce was better.
Beyonce, that's it.
I
Well,
would say
That's
that.
what I was thinking of.
hard to compare.
I mean, she did a
Beyonce.
halftime show. She was better, man, than Rihanna. A lot of people were better than Rihanna. You're a prisoner of the moment, Dave. Last year you were in love with the hip hop
last
show.
year
This
was
year
better.
you're
Last year was way better. Last year was the greatest halftime show of all time with Dr. Dre and Snoop
That was
Dogg
good,
and
man. That was
Eminem
good,
and
man.
50 Cent and Kendrick Lamar and Mary J.
Shit,
Blige. That was the greatest Super Bowl halftime show I've ever seen in my life. That was phenomenal. But this year's I thought was very good. Way better than the Super Bowl halftime shows that I've been accustomed to growing up, watching a bunch of 75-year-old men prance around the
don't
stage
get there,
playing these
Dave.
shitty
Don't-
guitars.
He's
all right?
talking about
I'm
the
sick of these
Stones, man.
old guys playing guitars.
What?
I want to see Rihanna dance around.
I want to see AC/DC, man. Screw
Exactly.
That.
That's what you want to see. I don't want to see AC/DC. It's
I
enough
don't wanna
already
see
with
AC/DC.
AC/DC.
I want to see AC/DC. Well,
Ugh.
not anymore now. They're
And the
kind of
Rolling
like,
Stones and all these old guys, Bruce Springsteen. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
What?
I don't
talk
want
to the
that
boss
bullshit
like that.
around me. Give me more Rihanna.
Yeah.
Give me all these old white guys dancing around. Hey, I'm in America. Fuck out of here, man. I want to hear that shit.
Ah.
I
Listen,
hate that
man, I'm
shit.
just the way. You know what?
at least they're singing.
No, they're
Yeah,
not. They're mumbling.
exactly,
You ever hear Bruce
No, they don't
Springsteen? That guy,
lip-sync.
you don't understand what the
He
hell
doesn't
he's talking
lip-sync.
about. All his
No, he's
songs
not
sound the
lip-syncing.
same. You don't know what the hell they're about.
Mr. State Trooper,
Shut the fuck up.
please don't stop me. I love
I
Bruce
hate that
Springsteen,
shit.
man.
Oh my
That
god.
song's great. It's from the Soprano soundtrack, man. Love
Well,
that
it's
song.
only good because only good because it's got a cool, Sopranos montage in front of it. Otherwise, it's no good. I don't like that stuff.
Mr. State Trooper.
Yeah, you guys like that stuff, but I'm saying those Super Bowl halftime shows, man. I got sick of those like U2 and shit. It's like, come on, man, all these old
Listen, man.
guys dancing
Oh,
Listen,
yeah,
around.
man. My favorite is Prince and Bruno Mars. So
Oh.
you can't.
Michael
like,
Jackson,
you-
man, was amazing.
Yeah,
I
there's so
can't
many
argue with
like
Prince.
you
Can't
generalize
generalize.
you generalize for a couple. Like the Rolling Stones did one, and
They were good,
Tom
man.
Petty did one that was great, man.
Tom
and,
Petty's all right.
I mean,
All right.
Come on, Dave.
AC/DC never did one.
But Tom
so
Petty
I'm
did
not sure
one
where
like
we're
how
talking.
far past his prime of, you know what I mean? Like, give me somebody that's
I mean, Rihanna's
that's
past her prime,
relevant.
man.
Well, she's still relevant in popular culture. You know what I mean? Like the Super Bowl for a long time, they were giving us these bands that weren't making hits anymore, that hadn't had a hit in like 20 years, and they were playing their hits from like the 60s or whatever, but it's like, come on, dude, give me something. Give me somebody that had a hit in the past 10 years at least. And
Yeah,
now
but,
they're starting
well-
to do that a little bit. Anyways, that's my
Man,
take
I'll
on the
tell
Super
you.
Bowl halftime. Well, we're different generations, guys. All right? AJ's a way different generation. AJ's like 100.
Janet
years old.
Jackson.
AJ didn't know who Rihanna was.
Yeah, Janet was
Don't
better
get
than
mixed
Rihanna.
taken with
Yeah,
I
the-
mean,
thought
Rihanna's
Janet
so
and
low
Justin
on the
Timberlake,
top
they were
totem
good.
pole.
Janet
Yeah,
and Justin
much
Timberlake
better
were
than
good.
yeah, much better
Damn
than Rihanna.
Thank you,
That show
Freddie.
sucked.
I'm on Freddie's side.
I don't know. I
Oh,
think you just
like
don't
she
like
wasn't
Rihanna.
even making an effort to the lip syncing. Man, there's so many instances where she lets go of the mic and it continues of singing. It's like, oh, come on, man, make it
We were
look
saying
real
the
at
same
least.
thing, Freddie. Freddie, we were saying the
Make
same
it
thing
look
over
real
here.
at least.
Man, I'm telling you.
Lazy, fucking
I gave it. Listen,
lazy.
I gave it 6 out of 10. I gave it
I don't
6 out of
see
10.
the problem with lip syncing. I think everybody does it, and I don't really care that it's a
Milli
thing
Vanilli
now.
lost
It's
her
like
career because of
not
that.
even an infraction in my eyes.
Oh, so
Like,
it's a dance show. It's not a singing.
Ah,
Yeah.
there you go. It's
You
not
see her?
American Idol. Dave.
Yeah.
see her dancing?
See, that's the problem. I'd rather hear somebody sing. And look, man, look. I went back every year. I go back to listen to the old ones, man. Prince didn't lip sync, man. He was in the rain playing guitar and all. Bruno Mars didn't lip sync, man. That Bruno Mars show was great, man. Anyways, man, those are real artists. And there's like dancing and all that at the same time. It's not only the music, man. That's a real artist.
I'll give you Prince, but the Bruno Mars, I'm not sure.
Overrated. Oh, yeah. Bruno is great,
Prince,
man.
Wow.
Started on the drums. Nah, he was great, man. He had
no
the Red Hot Chili. Another thing, okay, I'll finish on that. Like Rihanna was alone, man. Usually, man, they get these special appearance. You know, Bruno Mars had the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Beyonce had Bruno Mars come in as a guest star also on her show.
Kelly and Michelle from Destiny's Child.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Did Jay-Z come out for Beyonce too for one song?
I'm not sure, but Beyonce and Bruno came for Coldplay, actually. But yeah, so like Rihanna, where was Kanye, man? She sang all those Kanye songs, and he's
that's
not there.
Not gonna happen. She did All of the Lights, and I was like, oh, is Kanye coming out? I was like, nah. And then she did Run This Town. I was like, is Jay-Z coming out? And it's like, nah. Yeah. All right. Guru the Pig has an interesting question. We're gonna get to the UFC preview here in a bit. I also want to talk about Islam. Huh?
What's the question?
I read he wants some MMA talk.
Yeah,
but I mean,
we're
going to
give the MMA talk.
Don't worry, Guru.
Don't worry, Guru. We get to it.
How much you want to talk about Zach Pauga?
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's not that much to go on with Zach Pauga in the co-main event. Fred doesn't even know how to pronounce his name, so, you know, that's where we are with that. Angelo says we're getting there, Guru the Pig. That's right. You got to wait. You got to wait for the meat. This is just a little bit of a appetizer for you, baby.
This is a little bit of the spice, man. My gastro, like Bruno Mars, you know. The Eagles losing. It's all shitty from there, man.
Hey, look, it all ties in because not only did I win my Super Bowl bet last week, but the Team Dave parlay for UFC 284 cashed in. The Team Dave parlay for the week prior UFC card cashed in. The Derek Lewis, Sergey Spivak card. I gave you Spivak and Tybura on that one. Last week I gave you, what the hell did I give? Oh, I gave you Big Knockout Man, right, who knocked out Parker Porter, right, that big Samoan guy.
Don't forget AJ.
I forget his name, but I gave you him to win. What the hell was that guy's name? And I also gave you Islam. Huh?
It was Parker Porter, man.
No, he lost. Justin Tafa knocked him out. Yeah. I gave you Justin Tafa. And I gave you Islam, and that was my parlay last week, and we cashed in. We cashed in the week before, and this week we're going to cash in on this UFC Vegas 69 card. I've got a few choice picks for you coming up here on the show. But before we get into that, I did like a question that Guru the Pig asked.
Let me answer it.
No, you don't get to answer it because it's a question that brings me to another point. All right, I'm not really answering the question, but maybe we are. We're 2 weeks away from Jon Jones' return to the UFC. He's going to be fighting Cyril Gane at the next UFC pay-per-view now. The next big fight card, UFC 285, coming up on the 4th of March, and we're 2 weeks away. 2 weeks from this Saturday. I believe it is in Las Vegas. It's got to be, right? This is, too big for anywhere but Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. Jones and Gane. And the question was, do we see Jon Jones turn back the clock against Gane, or will Gane's youth and athleticism shine through and convincingly dismantle or knock out Bones? Now, youth. I mean, Cyril is 32 and Jon is 35. That's not like a huge age differential. Jon Jones has just been fighting in the UFC for a lot longer. But he hasn't fought in about 3 years, and he's coming back now at heavyweight, a different version of himself, against solid heavyweight in Cyril Gane. However, I saw a clip from an interview with Cyril Gane where he says that he has regrets in his career. And among those regrets are not training hard enough and being lazy. Cyril Gane is now admitting to not training at all between fights. And
He likes to eat.
when he gets a fight signed, like he says, between a Tai Tuivasa fight and until they announced this Jon Jones fight, which was not that long ago, guys, he didn't train at all. So this guy, Cyril Gane, is doing nothing between fight camps.
I don't believe that, Dave. I don't believe that at all.
I don't know, man. I will send you the clip. I can't play it here because it's not our content, right? But it is pretty damn convincing. I might be able to track it down for you. It is like he's not joking around. You know Jon Jones is training. That's all he's been doing. I mean, also partying and drinking and possibly getting into fights with his wife and everything, right?
Cocaine, hookers.
Cocaine, hookers, yeah.
Shooting at homeless people.
Dick pills.
He's stealing wallets.
Picograms.
You know, I'm just saying, Dave. He's been pretty busy, but you know, stealing money from hookers. Listen, I'm gonna just say one thing, Dave. The picograms is not gonna work this time. And just to Guru the Pig, I'm going to tell you something, Guru. This is your first time listening to the show, but we were the first show above Joe Rogan.
You're not addressing the.
Listen,
there you go, AJ.
Listen, I'm going to just let me finish.
Let's not. Listen, every time his name is mentioned, he's fighting in 2 weeks. Every time his name is mentioned, you're going to go on and on about how I discovered Cyril Gane. I found him and I told him to fight.
Show a picture, Dave. Show a picture.
No.
Guru the picture.
I'm not showing shit.
I was the first one when I saw him, and I said this guy was going to be a future heavyweight champion of the UFC. He wasn't even in the UFC at that point. He became champion in TKO. And I saw this guy fighting. As a heavyweight, he moves incredibly fast. He moves like a light heavyweight. He's got everything for him. The ground, the stand-up, the Muay Thai game, the patience, and the power behind him. And the thing is, he's very methodical and he's tactical. And I'm going to tell you something. Even when he says he's not training, believe me, Lopez, his coach, he
looks pretty good
France,
physically for a guy that doesn't train.
He's always training. I heard interviews with him, and let me tell you, when he's not doing MMA, he's doing other types of like sports. If he's not playing soccer, yoga, whatever, he's playing
active. FIFA. You know his FIFA team is ranked 64th in the world.
What?
For real?
You're welcome, Lucy. Yeah. He plays on a competitive, like, pro FIFA team on, like, PlayStation, and he's ranked 64th in the world. Okay? 64th. This is what he's doing with his time. And you're talking about in shape. He's a big heavyweight. How in shape does he – I mean, okay, I'm not – he's probably training.
I mean,
look
at him, man.
Into the gym.
I'm just saying.
But I don't think he
doesn't look like Derek Lewis.
He doesn't look, but he is saying that he doesn't train grappling very much. He's not like there's stuff he's just not working on.
I don't believe that.
You think he's lying? We'll 100%. Find out in 2 weeks when Jon Jones takes his ass down, beats him up, slices him with elbows.
You're wrong. No, it's going to be the other way
around. And becomes heavyweight champion of the world.
Dave, and I'm going to disagree with you. And then Guru Pig, listen to me and listen to me clearly. Cyril Gane went 5 rounds with Ngannou. He was going to be the champion if he won the 5th round.
Listen to me clearly.
If he would have won the 5th round against Ngannou, Cyril Gane would have been champion.
He did it, man. Get over it, man. He lost. He lost, man. He lost, man. Get over it, man.
Listen, if they fight again, if Cyril Gane fights Ngannou again, which could happen at some point, if Ngannou comes back,
oh man, that's terrible.
He's
AJ.
going to beat him.
He's going to
beat him. Cyril Gane is going to beat Jon Jones,
wishful
and he's going to make
right
Jon Jones like he made a huge mistake leaving light heavyweight. And I'm telling you, Jon Jones took too much time to come back and fight at heavyweight. This will be his first fight, and let me tell you something. He's going up against a seasoned guy like Cyril Gane.
Here we go.
Who moves like a light heavyweight.
Here we go.
I'm telling you,
Jon Jones has more experience.
Nobody. Who's beat nobody?
Oh, yeah, he's beat
Who's
nobody.
Cyril Gane beat?
Dave.
And then I'll run you the list of Hall of Famers that Jon Jones has finished. Who's Cyril Gane beat?
Hey, listen,
he beat?
In my opinion, he lost to Dominic. I'm just saying.
He didn't, though. He won.
Hey, listen, man.
Your opinions don't matter. It's the record sheet. He won all his fights. Who has you're looking up who Cyril Gane has beat because you don't have a list of names off the top of your head of legends that have gone down to Cyril Gane because he just doesn't have the track record. Johnny Bones Jones, I'm not looking shit up. Machida, Shogun, Gustafsson twice, Cormier twice. He beat them all. He smashed them. And there's more. Vitor. I mean, this guy beat anybody and everybody,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer
Sure.
on the road
And
to his own
everybody-
Hall of Fame career, and he is
I'm not
going to
gonna fight
beat
that.
Cyril Gane, expose his lack of grappling, expose
Oh,
his lack
yeah,
of
right.
preparation, and
Oh,
show
yeah,
why
good luck.
he is the greatest fighter of all time and the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world today. You could forget about Makhachev. You could forget about Volkanovski because the #1 pound-for-pound fighter on March the 6th, when the new rankings come out after Jones beats Gane, will have Johnny Bones Jones, #1 P4P, #1. Greatest
Dave.
of all time. And when he does it, AJ, you're going to be sitting next to me. I cannot wait. I cannot
can't
wait
wait
to see
because
the
you're
devastation
gonna give him another
when my
Disney
boy
Plus.
Jon
It's not
Jones,
happening,
the
man.
man that I've been going with since he won the championship, he gave me his hat at the weigh-in when he
Cyril Gane.
beat Shogun, and AJ's boy Cyril Gane, AJ the #1 Jones hater, and me sticking by Jon Jones through thick and thin, through disappointment after disappointment outside the octagon, and victory after victory inside the octagon. I can't wait for UFC 285, AJ, because you're going to eat it. You're going to eat Jon
Listen, man,
Jones, and you're
listen.
going to
No,
cry
I'm not eating
Cyril
no
Gane
Jon
French
Jones, nothing,
tears.
man. Listen, as long as he doesn't bite into anything, which includes a picogram or something,
You're
he's
a
perfectly
picogram.
fine in my opinion. Until he passes, the testing coming up to the fight, perfectly fine. But I'm going to tell you something. You don't give enough credit to Cyril Gane, who proved himself going up to the Francis Ngannou fight. Again, he won that 5th round. He
Everybody
would've been
that
champion.
Cyril beat, Jon Jones would beat. There's not a guy on that
Easily.
list that Cyril defeated that would scare Jon Jones. Man, Jon Jones would take care of Derek Lewis. He would take care of Volkov. He would
What?
take care
No
of
way.
Jairzinho.
No way.
Of
way,
course
no
he
way.
would,
Yep.
man. Come
No
on,
way.
man. He beat
Jairzinho?
Daniel Cormier 3 times, man.
Yeah, but
Come
Daniel
on,
Cormier,
man.
look
Just
at the
twice.
size of Daniel Cormier compared
Twice?
to the
They only
size
fought
of
twice?
these guys.
I think so.
I mean,
yeah.
one's a no contest, but
Yeah, it was
but-
on cocaine.
I
Dave.
still count that as
I'm
a.
sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's twice. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, man, Jon Jones, man,
Listen, man.
Daniel Cormier is like better than all these guys, and Jon Jones schooled him,
wrestling
man.
wise goes,
Yep.
wrestling
Head
wise
kick.
goes, I agree.
Head kick out cold. Daniel Cormier. Come on,
Look
man.
at the size of Daniel, man, and look at the size of Jon Jones, man. For sure, the head kick
Daniel
is the,
Cormier is the
thing that you
former
have to
heavyweight
avoid.
champion of the world. Daniel Cormier, in his prime, would destroy Cyril Gane. And if you don't think so, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You see what
Listen,
he
I'm
did to
gonna
Anthony
I'm gonna
Rumble
tell you
Johnson?
something.
You see what he
You
did to
guys are
Stipe?
gonna-
You see
listen,
what
I can't wait
he's
for-
done? Come on now.
Listen, I can't wait for this watch along, dude, because man, it's gonna be a very, very emotional night. I'm telling you right now, Cyril Gane. Okay,
Get ready
is
for
going
the
to take him
excuses.
apart.
Emotional for you.
Not
The
for me,
excuses
man.
are going to be crazy. I
You better
pray
bring out your.
this
you
doesn't
better
go
bring
to
out your
decision.
friends.
Because if it
Bring
goes
out
to
your friends
decision,
because I'm worrying it.
no matter how one-sided, if Jon Jones takes Cyril Gane down in second 2 of round 1 and keeps him down and does it in round 2, 3, 4, 5, if he clearly wins 10-8 rounds in all 5 rounds, AJ will still score it for Cyril Gane because that's the
50-40.
kind of person we're dealing with. So I pray that Jon Jones knocks him out or taps him out or gives us a conclusive finish so that AJ doesn't get to chirp on about wasn't the judges because Jones is gonna win like he's going about Dominic Reyes years on. He's still like Reyes. AJ is a guy who picked Jon Jones to lose to Thiago Santos, to Alexander Gustafsson, to Dominic Reyes, to all these fights that we previewed of Jon
Dominic
Jones.
Reyes, I mean, that
Every
fight-
single
AJ is the-
one of them you picked against Jon Jones because you're a Jon Jones hater and you don't understand that
No,
he's
I'm
the
not a
greatest
hater.
we've
What are
ever
you
seen.
talking
You
about?
don't get
Dave,
it.
I agree.
Dave,
I agree.
you were talking about seeing him win the championship. I was at UFC 100 when he destroyed Stephan Bonner,
Ooh.
and I remember saying at that time, this guy's the champion. I don't care if you want to be late to the party. I'm calling him the champ, and AJ's the ultimate guy late to the party, man. Come on, man.
Dude.
Jon
I
Jones,
knew-
man.
I knew he was the man. That's why I went to New Jersey. I went to New Jersey to see him fight Shogun. because I knew he was going to win the belt and he was going to be champion forever, and I was going to witness history. That's how we all knew, AJ, and you still don't know. I knew before he was champion. Fred knew before he was champion. This is the guy. And you still don't know. You still haven't figured it out.
Hold on a sec there, hombre. I said the same thing about Cyril Gane. When I saw him fight, I said if this guy ever gets to the UFC at heavyweight, he's going to be a devastating factor.
But he lost to Ngannou.
Let's face it. You'd pick against Jon Jones if you were fighting Parker Porter next weekend. You don't care.
And there's two factors. There's two factors awful in this equation for, sorry to bring math class here to you guys, but there's two factors awful for AJ. Is hatred for Jon Jones is one of it, but the other one is his love for a fighter that he met once or twice in his life. So,
Twice.
you know, like, yeah, exactly. So put those two factors together, man, it's like the ultimate collision where Jon,
it's over.
Come on, AJ.
He met him twice.
Don't trust AJ.
And Cyril was like nice to him too. Cyril was friendly, so AJ's like hooked for life now.
Listen, he made me hold this belt, man. That's a real champ right there. He knew. He knew to give me the belt, man. He knew that.
He's like, well, I got a sucker here, this guy.
Jon Jones gave you a cap that he threw and probably hit you off the head with it. See,
threw it right to me.
Was different.
And then he gave me an interview right afterwards because he's a good man.
Oh, that's true. He did give you the interview.
Yeah, Fred, easy on the stories about guys who were nice to us. You know, Jon Jones was very nice to me, and I've never forgotten it.
Who wasn't very nice to you? Dana White wasn't very nice to you?
No, Dana has always been very nice and very accommodating to me. Dana has been super cool throughout the years. Dana, I'm a big Dana fan. Dana personally has always been great.
There you go, Dana. Hopefully he's listening.
I can't think of any UFC fighter that has been kind of a dick, really. Everybody's pretty cool.
Yeah, everybody, like everybody that we've met, it's been pretty cool. I mean, we had like great guys, man, that have come on our show, man. You know, I was thinking there was one. It's only in wrestling that you have enemies. That's about it. In MMA, you're pretty liked.
I don't have enemies in wrestling. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have enemies.
Don't mention any names.
You don't want him. You don't want him to win.
Well, I don't think Sami Zayn should win because Roman Reigns makes more sense going into WrestleMania.
Personal feelings coming in.
No, I think Sami Zayn is super talented. I like Sami Zayn. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Did Sami Zayn have like something against you at one point?
You know what, man?
Yeah, maybe.
I usually watch the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Sometimes SummerSlam. But you know what? I'm going to watch Elimination Chamber, and I'm going to watch it because of Sami Zayn.
Good. Nice.
Wow.
Well, that's pretty good, man. If he's bringing in a lot of new wrestling fans or more fans to stick with the show, maybe they should make him champion. Do you want to see him champion?
Listen, I like Sami Zayn too.
Yeah,
I was at a dinner party.
Yeah?
Remember when I called you?
Yeah, man.
Over Cody?
I'm not a big fan of Roman. Like, you know, like this whole
Cody?
like long. I don't like Cody, man.
Oh.
Some fucking independent indie reject. Come on, man.
He's the son of Dusty Rhodes. He is this business.
He's the grandson of a plumber, man. What do you want me to say, man?
He's a legend. He's fantastic.
Man,
I like Cody a lot. Cody looks the part, you know? Cody really, he's got a lot going for him right now. Like, it's kind of hard to go against what Cody Rhodes is doing. Like, Sami Zayn's doing great work, but it feels like Cody's time, and Sami has kind of jumped in and made a play, but it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense for Sami to be the guy to end Roman's run. And it really has nothing to do with how I feel about Sami personally or whatever. I don't know Sami personally. I just think Cody should win. I think Cody should be the guy at Mania because I just think the marquee, you know, like 2 or 3 years ago when Cody was in AEW, if you said, hey, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns in 2 or 3 years is going to be the main event of WrestleMania, people would have been like, what? You know, it's crazy. It kind of is the match you have to make. Huh?
Cody feels forced because, like, as soon as they signed him back from AEW, there was already chatter of making him champ, it feels like. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. He's forced, man. I'm not down for that, man. Sami Zayn.
He's being brought in to be the next guy in WWE. Like, Roman is going to probably take a break. Roman's been running really hard for a long time. I could see him taking a break after Mania, maybe exploring outside opportunities, and Cody just kind of taking over as the lead guy in all of WWE. I think they need a new leading man for the show And I don't know if Sami Zayn is going to be that guy. I think they want it to be Cody. And I'm good with that because Cody's work so far in WWE since he's come back has been very high level. Very high level. I don't know if Sammy's body, because he's been through a lot. Like, he had an indie career that was pretty rough. Like, I don't know if his body can hold up to the rigors of a main event title scene on a consistent basis. Like, as champion, I think it would be really rough on him to work those, like, 30-minute matches, 20-minute matches, like, on a consistent basis. They could limit it. I mean, they could do it, but I just think, I don't know. Cody seems like the guy now to beat Roman. If anybody does beat Roman. And I'm not saying anybody should beat Roman because Roman is on the run of a lifetime, so I could see Roman winning at Mania too. I just feel that Roman Cody on the poster makes sense. That's all.
What about my buddy Logan, man? Give him some credit.
Logan's going to wrestle Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, which is really cool. And his brother Jake is going to box Tommy Fury next Sunday.
Oh, yeah, it's on a Sunday. At what time is it?
Yeah. I don't know. It's in Saudi Arabia. I have no idea.
Oh, it's in the Saudis. I forgot what time then.
I hope it's in the afternoon, because if it's at night, I'm not going to be there, guys.
Well, we got to do a watch-along for that, Dave.
We'll try. We'll see.
I mean, plus there's NASCAR in the afternoon of Sunday. What the fuck is a Sunday?
And listen, if he beats Tyson Fury, he gets ranked in the WBC. Think about it.
Tyson Fury, Tommy. Yep. Yeah, that's what they said.
Tommy Fury. Yeah, I mean, it's great, man. I think he becomes legit at that point, you know?
By beating a bunch of nobodies in boxing.
Listen, Tommy Fury, he's still a boxer, man. He's ranked. It's legit, man.
He's not ranked. What are you talking about? Tommy Fury's not ranked.
He's a legitimate boxer.
If he knocks out Tommy Fury in like 10 seconds, I'll be less impressed than I was with him knocking down Anderson Silva in his last fight, you know? Like, just dropping Anderson is more impressive to me than beating any kind of scrub boxer that I've never really heard of, you know? I'm not too big on this Tommy Fury fight because I don't know much about Tommy Fury other than he's Tyson Fury's brother.
I think that says enough.
Whatever. You care. You're one of these guys, you know, you're one of these Jake Paul lovers. Jake Paul dick rider over there, AJ.
Hey, take it easy, man. You should be giving him like a lot of, every time we have like anything with a Jake or a Logan Paul, man, you know, our numbers go up, so you got to give them some credit, Dave. Don't be a hater, bud. Don't be a hater.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying you love them like more than you love Cyril Gane somehow.
So, like,
you get into these fandoms and obsessions, AJ. It's like unhealthy.
Listen, man. Listen, no. Let's be honest. Logan Paul at the last wrestling event was so impressive that he was the highlight reel of all. So you got to give him credit. Him knocking out Anderson Silva, you know, and hammering everybody else, knocking down. I mean, it's impressive.
It's two different Pauls.
Sorry, Logan Paul. I mean,
Logan's wrestling. Jake is boxing Anderson. It's two different guys you're talking about. You're combining their achievements in one. No wonder you're impressed.
Listen, they're brothers, man. These guys are impressive. All it comes down to is that I told you from the beginning that they were going to change the face of sports, and they did.
Go. Oh, my God.
Thank you very much.
AJ, no more predictions, because if any of your predictions if almost a prediction comes true, he's like, oh, I told you guys. AJ said from the beginning.
I told you Cyril would be a champion. Well, he lost to Ngannou. I told you that Jake Paul would be the biggest star. Sells like 100,000 pay-per-views.
AJ, I told you the Chiefs would win the Super Bowl. I told you
man.
I told you a lot of stuff, AJ, that you were wrong about.
How come your parlays don't come in more often? You tell us all these things.
AJ, I told you that your parlay sucked and mine was better last week. How come you didn't listen to me?
What are you talking about? I got 5 out of 5, Chico.
No,
I got 5 out of 5.
No, you
didn't.
I
did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You're
the
lying.
only thing I didn't get was Islam by submission. Other than that, I called every fight there.
Well, that's not 5 out of 5.
That's not 5 out of 5.
And you don't understand how a parlay works.
Listen, I got a little confident. I got a little confident by throwing in the manner of win. But if I didn't throw that in, man, I would have hit 5 out of 5. But you know what? He came close to getting his submission.
So you didn't. It doesn't count.
Don't rain on my parade, Dave.
Well, I will rain on your parade because there's no parade because you lost. Losers don't get a parade. I want
I don't know
you
about
to throw
that.
me a goddamn parade
It's
because I have
Chiefs
won
winning
my
the Super Bowl.
parlays.
They
I
kinda-
have cashed in
the ref
money
out
for
there.
the Ringside Report Network in 2 straight UFC events, 2 straight cards. The Derek
That's
Lewis
true.
card and UFC 284, the Team Dave parlay cash. I'm the only guy to cash in 2 straight weeks this year, and AJ's trying to tell me about a parlay he won that he didn't actually win.
Well, I just screwed up with the submission.
Garbage.
That's it.
You're garbage
If
tonight.
not,
You are
know,
sick.
man, if I would have won
You
that,
are
you would have
sick.
been like,
Shout out
you
to
were hoping
Lucy.
that
AJ, you're garbage.
yeah, right.
She was loving it when I was giving it to you before. She's like, "Thank you, Dave." She's like, Lucy, by the way, is AJ's child's mother. So, when I'm giving it to AJ and she's thanking me on the chat, it's been a rough week dealing with AJ sick at home. I bet she wishes he was back at work.
Listen, man, I'm going to tell you this.
AJ's not denying that. He's like, "Yeah, probably."
Lucy agree that I'm one of the better dancers in the family.
Who?
One of the better dancers in the family. Like, I just got this thing, man. Like,
You're
I
one
got
of the
rhythm,
better
man.
dancers in the family?
Exactly, man. That's
What does
why
that
I was
mean?
able to make comments about Rihanna on
You
Sunday.
can't dance.
Listen, Lucy, no. Me, I can't dance. I'll show you how to dance, man. Listen, I'm going to tell you something.
Show me.
Listen, my prediction is simple.
My
Cyril Gann.
dancing is a mix of
Logan Paul
Bill
is going to be
Cosby.
WWE
Alright.
champion. Jake Paul is going to be on the WBC ranking.
Bill
And AJ is
Cosby.
going to make some money.
Fred, you
What
shouldn't
about
do
Bill
anything
Cosby?
like
Is he
Bill
back?
Cosby.
No, but like he would dance like this. Like that's Cosby.
Is
That's
that
my
how he
dancing.
would dance?
Is that before or after he
I'll add some
provided
Elaine
drugs?
to it.
I think that's a sleight of hand to.
I think, you know what? Is that after Fred he provided the drugs? Like the date rape?
He looks like he's
Telling
on
you,
the
look-
drugs doing that dance. Hell is that?
I'm telling you, look at the intros, man. Every season has a new intro. He's dancing. Dun, dun, dun. I'm telling you, man.
AJ's got rhythm,
Big
man.
fan.
All right. So Islam Makhachev cheated at UFC 284, guys. Cheated big time.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that, Dave.
Yeah,
agree.
well,
I don't know
AJ, you
about
don't know
that,
the
Dave.
facts, so that's all right. AJ doesn't know about that because he doesn't know what actually happened. He's just a fanboy of Islam Makhachev, so he doesn't want to, Gon is losing to Jones, AJ. That's what Angelo says. That's what I say. Fred, where are you on this? You got Jones winning, right?
Of course, man.
Oh, yeah.
John
Take
Jesus Jones.
So Islam Makhachev, this came about because Dan Hooker tweeted that Islam Makhachev had been cheating. He rehydrated with an IV. And that is not allowed as far as we knew.
Apparently.
So then the UFC comes out and USADA comes out and ESPN comes out and they have stories saying, USADA says that the rules were changed in 2019 and you can rehydrate with the use of an IV. This is a practice that people used to do before 2015 when it was banned. And we've been following the sport for a very long time. I remember when it was banned. And as far as I know, it's always been banned. And I never heard of anything in 2019 of it being unbanned. So people were rehydrating with an IV after the weigh-in. You cut a lot of weight, you want to rehydrate, and an IV is a quick and very effective way to do it. Now, they said that they could be slipping in some other things, and they decided to outlaw the IV rehydration back in 2015. Now, USADA is saying, well, no, in 2019 we said it was allowed if you have permission from a doctor. And you ask the commission if you can do it. Now, permission from a doctor. Let's address that first off. Fred and I were really debating this before the show. We were talking about it. And Fred and I are on the same page. So, AJ, you're going to have to dig yourself out of a hole with your lack of facts. I don't know how this is going to work. But
No, I'm confused, but I'll be honest. I'm confused with this
okay,
whole thing.
well, I'll explain it to you. So you're allowed to rehydrate with an IV if a doctor tells you that you need it, that you're so dehydrated that you need to rehydrate with an IV. Now, if you are, the day before a fight, so dehydrated that a doctor has to interfere and say, this man or woman needs an IV to rehydrate, you're not fighting the next day. If a doctor says, hey, you're dehydrated to the point where you need an IV to rehydrate, and if you ask the doctor, hey, can I fight tomorrow? They're not going to clear you to fight. Like, that's it, okay? So the rule is there from USADA that says, hey, you can rehydrate with an IV if you have doctor's permission. That's only in place so that if you do it, they know you're not fighting, but you're not going to get suspended by USADA. You see, that's why USADA has the rule. It's not to say, hey, if you want to rehydrate, just get a doctor to say yes, and then you're good. No, that's not the rule from USADA. What USADA is trying to do is say, hey, you're allowed to do it if you really need it medically, and we're not going to suspend you for doing it, but you probably won't fight, because USADA is always testing and always watching, right? So if you have doctor's permission, with it, which Islam did not have, apparently he flew a nurse into Australia to administer this IV. Now, the other way you can have an IV, if you get this 100 milliliters of saline over a 12-hour period. So you're allowed a small amount of saline to rehydrate, but apparently, I don't know how much 100 milliliters is when you're injecting it into a person to rehydrate, but from what my understanding is from reading up on this, it's not very much. But this is where you can kind of cheat the system, where Islam can fly somebody in and say to whoever's asking, yeah, it was only 100 milliliters. Meanwhile, it's 2,000, and he's all of a sudden feeling great, and he's fully rehydrated. So that's a bit of a loophole. But even with that loophole, you are required by the rules of the sport, by USADA's rules, by the UFC's rules, and by the commission's rules to request that by the commission, to pass, to ask the commission, hey, I need to get rehydrated. Can I take 100 milliliters? And the commission either says yes or no. However, where they were fighting in Perth, Australia, that athletic commission that oversees those fights there, that oversaw that whole UFC card, that athletic commission does not allow rehydration with an IV of any kind before a fight. So if Islam was rehydrating with an IV before the fight, after the weight cut, he was in violation of the rules of the local athletic commission, which should get the fight turned into a no contest, but there's really no evidence and no way of knowing other than kind of rumors and talk. So that's where we're at with the Islam Makhachev thing. It seems like because the weight cut is so drastic for him, that he was probably rehydrating with the help of an IV. Who knows how long this has been the practice? Now, another thing to factor into this is that not only is Islam's weight cut, significant, but he also had less amount of time to cut weight before the fight. Generally, UFC fighters are given 36 hours before the fight to cut the weight. The weigh-in is 36 hours before fight time. This time around, it was 24 hours. So that's a 12-hour difference. That's half a day. And when you're trying to rehydrate from a serious weight cut, that's a lot of time that they took away from all the fighters, including Islam Makhachev. So usually you get 36 hours. For some reason in Australia this time, they only had 24 hours before the fight, which is a factor, you would think. But Islam, already a big guy, already cutting down a lot of weight to make 55, and he's got to make that 55 on the dot because it's a championship fight. He doesn't get that 1 pound weight allowance. And he's got only 24 hours before the fight to do it. So you could kind of understand why he might be, getting an IV, but the other fighters aren't doing it. The other fighters aren't cheating the system. They're not using a loophole. They're not flying in nurses from possibly other countries to do it under the radar without advising the athletic commission. And the UFC, they seem to be kind of playing damage control, saying, well, you're technically allowed the 100 milliliters, and, the USADA's coming out and saying, well, you're allowed as long as you have doctor's permission. But they're not saying that Islam had doctor's permission because they can't. But it's interesting that all of a sudden USADA, without being prompted, is saying, oh, you're actually allowed to IV, guys. It's totally cool. And everybody's like, why are you saying this? Is there some sort of situation where somebody's cheating, perhaps? Like USADA, ESPN, they're just kind of digging out and they're putting out these statements like, well, actually you're allowed. But they're not giving you the whole story saying, well, you're allowed to do it per USADA's rules, but in the athletic commission there, which is where the jurisdiction that takes precedence over whatever other rules go. Like, ESPN's not saying it, USADA's not saying it, the UFC's not saying it, but if Islam did rehydrate with an IV, he was in violation of the rules of the local commission there and cheating. And the UFC and their partners at ESPN are jumping through hoops to kind of defend this action because it damages the integrity of one of their top champions, one of their top stars, one of their biggest fights of the year. Like, it puts into question a lot of things that they don't want put into question. So they're letting it go. But, you know,
I think
how will they deal with Islam going forward? I'm not too sure.
I think one of the biggest issues with this whole story is how do you regulate it? Because from what I understand, also from the IV, like you're saying, they're allowed to 100 millimeters, but there's no way to know how much actually they've put into their body. And from what I understand, the testing also can't really tell you how much IV they took. So there's no really way other than putting surveillance on these guys, like in between the weigh-in and the fight.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how you regulate all that, but it does make the UFC look a little bit bad because also there seems to be some fighters that don't know about this change in 2019. So the rules, could be a little clearer at the very least, where everybody understands them and all that. But anyways, it comes out with the UFC looking just a little shady. And like I said to Dave, I think they're probably going to, next time they see Dan Hooker, they're going to say, like, man, why did you have to bring this up, man? We didn't need all these stories. Things were going well, and we didn't need to get the spotlight on us. But good fight for Islam, man. I don't think that takes away from him winning.
No.
But it is like, it is something. Yeah, exactly. It's something to talk of, and that takes away from his win.
Weight has been an issue for him. He's had trouble cutting weight. That whole camp has had trouble cutting weight. They're big guys, and they cut down to 155, and it seems like something shady was going on there. And Guru the Pig says, be real here, guys. IVs are a huge part of these guys draining themselves to near death and fighting a day later. Yeah, I mean, that...
They used to be until they changed the rules.
Well, that's it.
Like, until 2015, they used to be, like, very accepted. And then in 2015, the rule changed. And BJ Penn wasn't allowed to fight in a fight because of that, if I read correctly. So what happened in 2019? Why did it change? And why mostly wasn't that, like, reported mostly? Like, I got no problem. You want to legalize IVs?
Sure.
No problem.
But
no
Dan
problem.
didn't know about it. Alex Volkanovski didn't know about it. You know what I mean? Like, if this is so commonplace, how come some of these top fighters that are in the game at the top level are not aware of these certain loopholes? Maybe it's only the fighters that are managed by Ali Abdelaziz who seems to be defending these actions, and he actually tweeted out and admitted that Islam used an IV to rehydrate and then deleted the tweet because he realized, oh, that's actually incriminating and it's going to be bad for the athletic commission. Maybe the UFC called him. But, Ali's got a lot of clients that are, big in the UFC, high-level clients. And, I could see that being a thing where they know and nobody else knows. Who knows exactly who is aware of this IV loophole, but if you are caught, I mean, you should be punished. The problem is they didn't quite catch Islam Makhachev, but you would think if this were somebody else, somebody that wasn't in the favor of the UFC, maybe a lower-level fighter that was caught or was suspected of doing this, the UFC might be quicker to condemn. But because it is Islam Makhachev, they're kind of trying to defend and control the story rather than let it
he is the face,
get to,
right?
hey, he is this cheater. But the pound-for-pound rankings came out, and Volkanovski was still ranked number 1 and Makhachev ranked 2. Exactly what Fred was saying on the watch-along, how this was a great fight. Makhachev looked great. Makhachev won, but Volkanovski looking so great because he went up to 155 and because he's the king at 145. Just being able to take it to Makhachev the way he did and have a fight where it was pretty damn close against Islam Makhachev on Saturday night. He remains the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter, and And I agree with that. And Makhachev was a little bit upset, but it's like, hey, man, you beat the 145 champion who moved up. Like, you're the king of 155. There's no doubt about that. But number one pound for pound, like, if you jump up in weight, you know, and beat some guys at 170, maybe you'll be looked at as the number one pound for pound. But at this point, I agree with Volkanovski
like
being
to see
the number
that fight
one
again,
until Jon Jones comes back, and then, you know.
Listen,
bumps
I like
him
to
up.
see them fight once again. I mean, that fight was incredible. I mean, you know, Volkanovski impressed me so much. It was a great fight, Dave.
I don't know if we need it again right now. Like, I think they both need to have a few fights before it happens again. They've got other things to do.
Again at some point. But I just wanted to get back on one point. Like, you know, like this whole thing with the IV and all this kind of stuff and the changes and all that. I mean, it's so confusing. I was trying to read through and trying to figure out, and there was all kinds of people like saying one thing, one side, and whatever. And it's incredible that most fighting camps are not even aware about the changes of 2019. And the only thing that I thought about was in 2018 was when Darren Till was fighting Stephen Thompson at UFC Fight Night 130. That was in 2018, and that's when Darren Till almost died in his weight cut. I remember that footage when Darren Till was on his hands and knees and literally like brinks away from like dying. I swear, man, that was where I'm like, how does this make sense? This weight cut stuff has gone like too out of control. You know, someone's gonna die in the ring, and which we saw not too long ago with the fighter in the one championship that passed away because of that. I mean, you know, there's too many things that are kind of wishy-washy and things are not straight up. And I hope everybody has like some rule and regulation that everybody can abide to, because the problem with this is, like you said, is that every time it goes into a different state, it has different rules and regulations. Just like in Australia, you're not allowed to have the IV, but you're not allowed to use the sauna or a steam bath for that matter. That's illegal as well, because there was someone who died. Yeah, I'm telling you, you cannot use the sauna
to cut weight.
Not in Western Australia.
That's crazy.
And Perth, I believe, is in Western Australia. So that's another thing. I mean, these regulations were put into place because a fighter died, an amateur fighter back in Australia died years ago. It was a female fighter it was a Muay Thai amateur event, and she died because of the weight cut. So this is the thing, man. It's really hard to control because for every, like in the United States, every state rules like in their own different way. And across the world, it rules in its own different way. But, man, it's so confusing that I'm like, some people knew on how to sort of cheat the system, but it wasn't really cheating when it was really open since 2019. And I think they really opened it up because of the Darren Till fight.
Because you need to do it, you either take 100 milliliters, but either way you have to ask the athletic commission. So if he did it without asking the athletic commission, it's cheating. And he can't ask the athletic commission because the athletic commission would say no. So it's cheating. Like, it is cheating. And even if they changed the rule in 2019 that went from, hey, you can rehydrate you can't do it at all, to you could do it but with a doctor's permission, that didn't really change the rules, because no doctor is going to say, yeah, you can rehydrate with an IV and fight tomorrow. That's not going to happen.
Let's look at the fight also. Islam didn't look too good as the fight went on further.
Exactly.
Like, so that IV, man, probably helped him. If he took an IV, that helped him to make it to the end of the fight. So.
Oh, yeah.
I could have used an IV the last 2 days. But, like,
man,
you know, but
I was sick one time, like real sick. I had a terrible flu. I had to go to a hospital. They put an IV on me. Like, I was better. And, like, if you are, it took no time at all. That IV is super powerful. If you're rich, you know, you could get some guys to just come over and IV you at your house. I hear Joe Rogan and people do that.
Well, you know what? I mean, it almost makes sense in some ways.
It does make
right?
sense. When I was sick,
you know?
I had a bad flu like a few weeks ago, you know, and I was like, you know, I'm like so dehydrated no matter how much I drink, it's just not working. I was like, an IV would be really hit the spot right about now, but I didn't know who to call, you know.
We got to start finding some like UFC doctors, man. That's what it comes down to. But it's really like
Islam.
Some people. You just got to call Islam, or call some like the local fighters here.
Send location, Islam. Send location.
But you know what? It's interesting because it depends on like who's fighting, and if it's a championship belt, sometimes they'll like bend the rules. You know, I mean, I remember when George was fighting Diaz. If I'm not mistaken, he was 170.9. And Diaz was 170. Technically, he was over. But the AC decided
that's
to
not
round
official.
it up.
That didn't officially happen, AJ. You made that up. That's just what Nick Diaz said.
But again, it's about the commission having the rules. In Montreal, there is that 1 pound allowance even for championship fights. And with the Quebec Commission. Why? I don't know, but there is. So there wasn't
They
no
rounded
cheating.
it off to 170, man. So you're allowed to. There you go, Quebec. Everybody has their rules, man. You know, it's hard in this sport. It's really hard.
Well,
It
there
doesn't
are a
happen in
lot of
football, it
rules
doesn't
that
happen in
everybody
hockey.
knows, and then there are little loopholes that some people know, and they exploit them, until they're closed or until everybody figures it out. The thing is with this, I think the silver lining out of all of this and the Islam IV situation is that now people know. Now people know what you can do,
Everybody's
what you
going to
can't
be
do.
using it now.
Everybody's going to be trying, and if you're not trying and not trying to figure out how you can do it, how you can cheat that system, I mean, you're not doing your due diligence as a pro fighter. You got to try and get every advantage, and that's what Islam Makhachev did. He got every advantage. He walked away still world champion after a very tough fight with Volkanovski, and a fantastic fight with Volkanovski.
I still think I'm reading that Islam may like a comment on the chat that Islam maybe doesn't fight at 155. He's gonna fight at 155 again, and I think the biggest issue in all that was the fact that we mentioned the weigh-in being only 24 hours before the fight, where usually it's 36 hours before the fight, and that is huge. 12-hour difference to rehydrate is huge. So I think Islam's next fight is again at 155, probably in the U.S. this time, and less traveling, easier weight cut, etc.
Look, I'm going to tell you, I just saw a comment coming in from Guru Pig, and he's right, man. A lot of people complaining about 284, but to me, that was one of the best cards I've seen in the longest
great
time.
card,
it was
man.
fantastic. It was a great card. I mean, I love the fight. I thought it was great. There's always going to be controversy after any fight for something or another, and some people can say whatever. It might be true, it might not be true, but it doesn't change the fact of the fight. The IV wasn't going to be the gold for Islam to win that fight or Volkanovski to lose that fight. I mean, they fought, and they fought an amazing fight. It was incredible. And I said it. I told you. I said one thing with Volkanovski. A lot of people are underestimating the fact that, he's moving up in weight. Where people forgot that this guy was playing semi-professional rugby at 214 pounds. He came into MMA as a welterweight. This guy is used to being a heavier fighter. And he proved that on Saturday, man. He looked good. He looked strong. And you know what? He came out and he impressed. But overall, I believe that Islam won that fight. Hands down, he won it in the end. And, I'm not going to take it away. I agree with Guru Pig, man. It was a great fight card. And, man, it kept us going, man. We were excited on that night.
Okay. What's next for Islam?
Rematch.
No.
But it's going to be hard. Like
mostly
he says,
because
it's going to be hard.
Volk has nothing, man. Volk doesn't need to go back to 145. If I'm Volkanovski, I'm fine.
What? Did you not see Yair?
Yeah, but I mean, he's been the king.
Amazing, man.
That's like saying Jon Jones should go back down to fight Jamal Hill. I mean, the division keeps on going. Good for Yair. Volk did everything he needed to do at 145. If I'm him, I'm fighting to get a rematch at 155.
But can Islam go down again to 155 with all the problems he had? That's the biggest issue.
Yes,
March 18th,
yes,
there are two fights at 155. There are two fights at 155 where we're going to determine who's next for Islam Makhachev, and it's very simple. Justin Gaethje is going to be fighting Rafael Fiziev. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
286. 286. It's going to be Gaethje and Fiziev. If Fizzy wins, okay? Fizzy, let me just give you Fizzy's record. 29 years old, 12-1 as a pro. Has won now 6 in a row, including 2 straight knockouts, including a knockout of Rafael Dos Anjos in his last fight. If he could put Justin Gaethje to sleep, improve to 13-1, and get back-to-back knockouts of Dos Anjos and Gaethje, come on, man, you don't want to see Fizzy versus Islam? And if it's not Fizzy, it's got to be Beneil if he can get past Charles Oliveira. Beneil Dariush, right now, 22-4-1. He's riding a ridiculous win streak now in the UFC. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in a row.
Okay.
Gamrot,
But let me test
Ferguson,
you.
Ferreira. Like, he's beaten everybody. If he can beat Oliveira in May, then Dariush is next.
Okay, well, first of all, May is very far, man. I don't want to wait that long to see.
Islam can wait.
But let me put this other curveball here. What if Gaethje and Oliveira wins? If you're telling me Gaethje, Oliveira, or Volkanovski, I'm picking Volkanovski.
You're probably right there, but I don't think Oliveira or Gaethje is going to win. And I don't think either of those guys win, and I think it'll be between Fiziev and Dariush, and that'll be a real interesting question. Like, and I think if Fiziev wins first, which, you know, his fight is coming up first in March there at 86 in London, I could see Fiziev, you know, especially if he's impressive. It's a co-main event, Fiziev, on that London card. It's Fiziev versus Gaethje, and Gaethje is a very high-profile opponent. Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman is the main event, but March 18th, you know, we just saw Islam fight. It'll be about a month later. If Fiziev looks impressive and, like, smashes Gaethje, I think people are gonna start calling for Fiziev to get that fight with Islam. And, man, that's a sick fight. Fiziev has a real shot. Fiziev has a shot. Dariush has a shot. A lot of guys have a shot now because Volkanovski made Islam look human, you know? And now it's like, well, there's some guys at 155 that are legit, and I'd like to see Islam fight these guys. I want to see Islam fight Fiziev. I want to see Islam fight Dariush. And I don't think Volkanovski runs 155 as Islam moves to 170 because I think guys like Fiziev and Dariush are, like, big and strong and very tough. I think there's some really tough fights at 155. I think Volkanovski is a great 45er. He might wind up being the greatest 45er of all time if he sticks to that weight division and just keeps cleaning house. I think him and Yair is a really interesting fight. I think Volk can beat Yair, but, you know, it's a good fight. It's a fun fight, and I think Islam has some things to do at 155. I don't need to see Volkanovski and Islam fight again because, honestly, guys, I think it plays out pretty much the same every time. Like, it'll be good, it'll be close, but I think Islam wins at least 3 rounds every time they fight.
But that's the thing. I gave 3 rounds to Volk me, so.
You did?
Yeah, man. When I rewatched it, yeah, man. The next day, live, I had 3-2 Islam. But after that, man, I had Volkanovski, man. Should have won that. I'm with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan also is with me on that one.
I disagree. I thought Islam won that fight. I thought he won rounds 1, 2, and 3. Or
3,
1,
4,
2,
5.
and 5, maybe? I don't know. I thought he won 3. Or maybe even 4. Like, it was
regardless,
close rounds, but I thought he won them.
Man. He was impressive, and he won the fans. And people that weren't really on his side, by the time the fight was over, everybody became a Volk fan. I mean, this guy was impressive. I'd like to see this fight again.
Supposedly, Islam even said in his corner that he wanted a rematch. Like, he wasn't sure he was winning, Islam, in his head.
Sure.
It was close,
you
man.
know what?
If you weren't a Volk fan before this fight and you've been watching MMA, like, check yourself, you know? Like, Volkanovski has been running that 145 division and looking amazing. That fight with Max Holloway, the last one, was like, what the hell, man? Another level. Another level of Volkanovski. And Holloway keeps improving, too. Like, every time they fight, Volkanovski seems to pull further and further away from Holloway, and Holloway keeps getting better than everybody else in the division, too, which makes you wonder, like, God damn. The levels to the game, you know? Always levels to this game. Like, when you see Max Holloway, he's a killer. If Volkanovski doesn't exist as a human being, he's still the 145 champion. He's beaten everybody at 145. Nobody's beaten Max Holloway, right? But then there's this Volkanovski who's like, yeah, whatever, Max Holloway. Close fight, not a close fight. Just destroys him last time, and it's like, damn, man. The levels to the game. There's everybody else at 145. There's Max Holloway, and then there's Volkanovski. And it's like totally different levels. Fantastic.
Incredible, man.
Gotta love the sport MMA. Martial arts, man.
And great for Australia,
Levels.
too, man. You know, for the MMA scene in Australia. I mean, wow. Like, it just, you know, opening up new doors. It's incredible.
A lot of people want to see a rematch. A lot of people thought Volkanovski won, I guess, but I don't know. All right, let's give you some picks. I know AJ's got big picks. Jessica Andrade taking on Erin Blanchfield.
Go Jessica, man. She looked great in her last fight against Lauren Murphy. I know Lauren Murphy's probably like a lower quality opponent, but man, Jessica looks so good. I'm going to go with Jessica to win this weekend and earn another title shot.
Jessica Andrade coming in short notice here. This is supposed to be Tyler Santos in this fight against Blanchfield, but Santos had to pull out, and Andrade taking this fight on like a couple of weeks'
8
notice.
days, something
10
like
days,
that. Yeah, 10 days.
Yeah, Andrade just fought like 3-4 weeks ago there against Lauren Murphy, but she looked next level. Andrade is coming in as the favorite in this fight, minus 135, Blanchfield plus 115.
Oh, man. No. I'm going the other way, Dave.
Blanchfield looked amazing in her last fight against Molly McCann. She's got tremendous grappling, very good wrestling, very good jiu-jitsu. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She's 23 years old. You know what I mean? What the hell? How did that happen? What a beast.
She's been training like since she was a kid, man. And that's the thing with this girl coming in. She's amazing. She has 7 fights in a row, man. She's won the last 4 UFC fights. The thing going up against Andrade, man, she's got a 6-inch reach. And I'm telling you, like this, she's the underdog. Go with the underdog on this fight. She's going to beat Andrade, and she's going to beat her well.
Okay. You think she takes her down and taps her, maybe?
Look, it's going to be a tough one to call. She could go either way, either like punch her out or really submit her. Either or, man.
I don't know if Blanchfield is going to outstrike Jessica Andrade. That's a tough one.
She has a 6-inch reach, man. It's going to be hard. When she gets into that pocket, man, all she's got to do is jab her away, man, and she's going to get her, man. I'm telling you.
Does she have the power of a Jessica Andrade?
Well, that we'll see. I'm not sure. I can't really say, but overall,
Jessica's movement last fight, man, was so good, so crisp. Her striking was so precise. Like, I just see her winning by decision, but Blanchfield's an excellent fighter also. But look, a great fight, man. It might be the #1 contender fight, that.
I'd like to see Blanchfield win, because if she can beat Jessica Andrade at 23 years of age, it's like, whoa, okay, we got a phenom on our hands, you know? And she's looked like she might be that one where she steps up and becomes world championship level in her early 20s. But this is a real test in Jessica Andrade. It's tough, man. And Andrade, like you said, Fred, looks so good in her last fight. She's 31. She's in the prime of her career. Blanchfield is early in the game. It's a tough fight to call, but I'm going to go with Jessica Andrade as well. I think Andrade wins, but I don't know if she gets a finish. Like, I could see this fight going the distance and Andrade going with the judges' scorecards. I'm going to go with Andrade by decision. Andrade by knockout plus 154, the most likely outcome over at bet99.com. Andrade by decision, if you like this one, plus 566. How do you like that? Andrade decision plus 566. I like that.
It's not happening.
I'm going with that. That's a little side bet ski that I'm going to place down. That's a good one. AJ likes Blanchfield. Blanchfield looked amazing in her last fight. Look, if she wins, that'll be great. And she's not a huge underdog. Plus 110, like, that's close. That's close. It's a good fight. It's a really good fight. Like, this card isn't the best, but that main event, that's a legit main event. Because if Andrade wins and picks up another win here, she could be in line for a title shot again. And if Blanchfield wins, it's like, oh, maybe she's in line for a title shot. This is a fight with title implications, all right? There's implications to this fight, guys. And then the rest of the card is also happening. Jordan Wright at light heavyweight taking on Zach Pauga. Pauga! He was on The Ultimate Fighter, and he was at heavyweight. Now he's at light heavyweight. I think he's going to pick up a win here. I was real impressed with Pauga. Minus 286, the favorite is Pauga. And Jordan Wright plus 225, the underdog. We've got Josh Parisian taking on Jamal Pogues at heavyweight. William Knight against Marcin Prachnio at light heavyweight. And then opening up the main card coming up Saturday, it'll be the legendary Jim Miller taking on Alexander Hernandez. And always got to root for Jim Miller. He is plus 190, the underdog. Hernandez minus 240, the favorite. Jim Miller is now, and he's only 39. How come Jim Miller feels like he should be 56 years old, but he's only 39?
Jim Miller,
you know what I mean?
Jim Miller fought on UFC 100 and UFC 200, and he was saying he'd like to fight on UFC 300 to retire on that one.
But he has 52 fights in his career, man? I mean, holy smokes.
Yeah, he's been fighting for a long time. He's been fighting in the UFC since 2008.
Ever.
Long time. I remember when people were calling for a title shot for Jim Miller because he went on that ridiculous win streak, and then he didn't get a title shot. But, man, he was on a run at one point in the UFC lightweight division. He was at the tippy top of this division, but that was way back in 2010. So
12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Hey, he beat Charles Oliveira back then. I saw him tap Charles Oliveira here in Montreal at UFC 124. Jim Miller tapped him with a knee bar. I remember seeing that fight thinking, oh, these are two real good jiu-jitsu guys. Who's going to win? And I was surprised that the American tapped the Brazilian, you know? And that was Charles Oliveira, future world champion. So, yeah, Jim
He's
Miller's
doing pretty well, man. He's
Miller's
on a
had some
three-fight
great
win
moments
streak,
in the
man.
octagon. And he's now won 3 in a row. He beat Donald Cerrone in his last fight.
He
And I think that
submitted
was
him.
Cerrone's retirement fight, right?
Yep.
Man, Cerrone's. I don't know if Cerrone actually retired. I don't know if you saw a recent picture of Cerrone.
No.
You
He
didn't
looks
see?
jacked.
No.
Jacked to the gills, man. Cerrone just retired so he could get off USADA. He's on that Conor McGregor diet, you know? He's on all the stuff, looking super jacked. You see a picture of Anthony Pettis, too? Jeez. Anthony Pettis looks like Yoel Romero right now. It's crazy.
What? The hell, man? They're doing the Belfort diet, man?
Oh, my God.
Show it, man.
I want to get you a picture of Anthony Pettis. Where is this? I think it's on Instagram. Oh, my God. I mean, albeit he's standing next to his brother who's smaller than him, but, like, hold on. Here we go. I think I got this. Look at Anthony Pettis.
Jesus, what the hell, man?
Anthony Pettis off USADA. Look at this guy. It's ginormous.
What the hell,
Right?
man?
Look at those forearms. What's going on there?
Looks in good shape, man.
He looks huge.
Who is he
He's
boxing again?
Roy Jones.
Yeah.
Roy Jones is in trouble, baby. Anthony Pettis is
I don't
coming to
think
get
so.
you. Look how big Pettis looks. Good God.
I'll still pick Roy Jones.
I don't know, man. Pettis on
And how's
roids.
Cowboy
Pettis
look? I
is
want to
like
see what Cowboy.
30 years younger than him, too.
Find me Cowboy. I'm interested in that one, man.
Yeah, he looks huge, too. It's crazy. I mean, you get off USADA and, you know, you stay in shape. You want to do what you want to do, right?
Sure, man.
Why
Whatever
not?
it takes.
Why not? You're trying to get into the movies, you know? Jeez. Oh, my God. There's Cerrone.
Holy smokes, man.
Look at those arms.
Jesus, Murphy, man. The guy looks...
He's so thick.
What?
What happened?
Look, did you see what one of the comments said? Cowboy, you accidentally grabbed McGregor's water bottle?
Everybody's like
these guys all
secret
look
juice,
Conor,
you
man.
know?
Man, TRT at its best.
Yeah, he looks
Holy
good.
shit, he looks better than he ever did.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
He does. That's the thing. He looks better than he ever did.
Oh, he looks great.
Man, oh man, look at the size of his neck now. That's ridiculous. Man, wow.
Good for Donald. Patrick C. Hamilton dropping the 777 super chat. Thank you, Patrick. He says, I will put a small wager on Blanchfield. Not that I'm convinced she'll win, but if she does.
She
Oh, my
will,
God.
bud.
Patrick, you're going with AJ's pick? I think Fred
Go
and I
with
both
it.
went with Andrade. I mean, okay, Patrick, I you know, I would go with maybe Andrade by decision, like a small wager there at plus 566. You know what I mean?
Listen, man.
All right.
She's winning it, dude. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Andrade, Jim Miller parlay. I'll go for that.
Freddie dropping the parlay. Let's see it. Let's put it on the board. Andrade, minus 134. Miller, plus 190. It's the Team Fred bold parlay going with old man Jim. What do we got? Andrade, Miller, Team Fred parlay. $20 gets you 103.53. That's not bad.
Nice.
It's a good payout there. $100 on $20, but Jim Miller has to win a fight, which tricky. Could happen though.
Oh,
yeah, but his opponent, man, look, his opponent's on a 2-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
Yep.
His UFC record ain't great. He lost to Donald Cerrone. He lost to
Moicano. He lost to Quarantillo, man. You know, Jim Miller should be able to handle this.
He's 9 years younger than Jim Miller, though.
Big deal, man. Jim Miller, man. He looks the same, man, from 9 years ago.
Old man strength. And he does look the same.
I mean, he lost to Cerrone a long time ago.
Man, look what he did to Cerrone now.
Believe in Jim Miller,
when
man.
Alex Hernandez lost to Cerrone, Cerrone was on like a 3-fight win streak. Like, this is, prime Cerrone.
Believe in Jim Miller, man.
I want to. I really want to. But I think he's a little old.
What? He's only 39, Dave. We talk about guys much older than that.
I mean,
how old are you, Dave, man? You're not much younger than
Miller.
Not that much.
I got a couple years on him, all right? Take it easy. Got a few years there on old Jimmy. All right, he's old for a UFC fighter, though, Fred, you know?
Yeah, but the thing is with his experience and whatnot, man, and the fact that he's won, like, his last – how many did he win? His last three. He's won his last three. He's just on a ride, man. He's just like –
yeah, but it gets hard once you get over 35, all right, guys? You can't hide it from me anymore. I'm over 35 now. I understand. It's hard. I did a hard training yesterday. Fred saw. I mean, I got all sorts of sore parts. My ass is sore for some reason. I don't even understand why. A lot of squatting or something. I don't know what happened yesterday. Yesterday was a beast of a training session. I'll have Fred tell you about my
I won't tell you my horror story with that, but I'll tell you off air.
I looked all right yesterday. It was one of the rare times I looked pretty good. Fred was proud of me. So that was good.
Dave looked good, man.
Yeah, AJ. Dave looked good.
He was wearing black.
Yeah, that's why it was slimming, you know? I look jacked, baby. I look jacked. I look like Donald Cerrone yesterday.
I told him also. You see, I'm not the only one. I told
him
the other day. I go,
good, man. Did I not
yeah,
tell
you look in shape.
Thanks, guys.
I said, Dave, you're looking good, man. Well, you know what? You exercise, it pays off.
Yeah, man. You do a lot of jiu-jitsu and you get in shape. Also carrying around children. They're getting heavy, my kids, you know? They keep getting older and bigger. They keep eating. They're heavier and heavier every time I pick them up. Both.
And then they'll give you like freaking gastro and boom, you lose more weight.
Yeah, that's just you. I think you're the patient zero for that, AJ. All right. I've got Fred's parlay. It's Jim Miller and Jessica Andrade. I like that parlay from Freddie. I am going to throw a parlay together here. I'm going to give you Jessica Andrade. Sorry, I'm not giving you Jim Miller. I'd like to, but I just can't.
Why, man?
For a lot of the reasons that I said before, you know, age and mobility. I mean, he could win if he gets it to the ground, but I don't think he does, and I think he probably loses a decision standing up to Oliveira. All right?
To Hernandez.
Hernandez, yeah, sorry. Not Alex Oliveira, Alex Hernandez. Is he the cowboy? Is he a cowboy? He's a cowboy too, isn't he? Alex Hernandez? Cowboy Hernandez?
Yep. They're all cowboys.
They're all cowboys here. I'm gonna keep it real simple, guys. I'm gonna give you the main and co-main. I'm giving you Pauga and I'm giving you Andrade. I know the payout isn't great, but I'm trying to just win and not confuse things. So here's Dave's parlay. Hey, look, you're doubling your money, okay? Doubling your money. Dave's parlay won last week. Dave's parlay won the week before. Let's make it 3 in a row. We're going with Andrade minus 134. We're going with Pauga minus 286. We're keeping it simple here for UFC Vegas 69. It's UFC Vegas 69, guys. And we got 2 ladies headlining the card. You know what that means?
It's a 69er.
I don't know what it
Careful.
means. It means nothing. It means nothing.
You're throwing a big beach ball at AJ here, man.
I know, and he missed it. He whiffed on it. Like completely.
No, I didn't, man. I told you, man.
You didn't say
it's
anything.
a 69er.
Yeah. See, you whiffed.
I think it was Rihanna that whiffed on it.
Hey, see, there you go, Fred. See, you can catch him. You know what's going on. You're sharp. So $20 gets you $47.25. You're a little bit more than doubling your money over at bet99.com. And if you want to put in $50, you know how doubling your money works. So it's up to you. Bet responsibly. Bet99.com. Use that promo code Ringside when you bet. And it's a 2-fight parlay for Team Dave. Andrade and Pauga. Real simple. Main, co-main event. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. AJ, what do you got for me?
If you want a a complicated one that's not going to come in, AJ go.
Yeah.
Hey,
Also, I want to give you a side bet. Hold on,
Go
AJ.
ahead.
I want to give you a side bet on Jessica Andrade. $5. If you want to throw $5 on Andrade by decision, it's a $5 to win 33, or $20 to win 133. Andrade decision is plus 566. I like that as a side bet. If you want to sprinkle a little bit, you're feeling frisky, you're feeling a little spicy on a Saturday, throw a little money on Andrade. I won't even be watching these fights because I'll be at WWE Elimination Chamber on Saturday. I got tickets for that, so that'll be fun here at the Bell Center in Montreal.
Don't forget to report live there, Dave.
Yeah, I'll give you a live report. AJ, give me a parlay that's ridiculous that won't win.
So
Or
like
will
basically,
almost win, but then
Dave
you make
suggested
excuses
there,
and whatever.
It's not the bet to go with. You're going to lose with that. But I'm going to go with Blanchfield. I think Blanchfield is going to make work of Andrade. Then I'm going to go with Zach Pauga. I agree with you there, Dave, with Zach Pauga coming in. Then I'm going to go with this is a tough one. So I'm going to go with Josh Parisian for the win on this.
Oh.
Listen, man, this it's my listen.
That's where your parlay dies.
Okay. And then
you should react like that to every pick he makes.
Yeah.
You're gonna make him so nervous. Oh, AJ. Oh.
That's what he said last time. And then I'm gonna go with Marcin Prakenio.
Oh no!
Oh, man.
And that's a legit. That's a legit response too.
Advantage. He has an inch reach advantage.
Big Willie's winning that fight. Big Willie Knight.
Willie's going down. The only Willie's gonna see on that 69 is like, nuts to the ground.
AJ seeing Willie's on 69. I don't know what's going on.
Listen, and then I'm going to go with
talk
like
about 2 ladies. AJ's making it.
Then I'm going to go old
into
school,
a Willie
and I
show.
believe, just like Freddie, man, Jim Miller is going to pull it out. Dave doesn't have any confidence in the 39 to 40-year-olds. I do, man. Jim Miller's coming in.
Jim Miller's
Balls
going
to
to
the
be your
walls, man.
son. AJ.
Balls to the
That's how old
walls.
you are. God,
UFC
yeah.
69.
Is that it?
Oh, motherfuckers. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Motherfuckers.
There we go.
Oh, you're
What's
killing me
it pay,
tonight,
Dave?
AJ.
Show me.
Erin Blanchfield, Zach Pauga, Josh
yeah.
Parisian, plus 200.
Leave it
Look
to
at all these
Parisian.
underdogs on this card. This payout's going to be huge, AJ. I hope you hit it. I hope you bet it, because you never bet it because you don't put your money where your mouth is because you're bullshit. I actually bet my parlays because I put my money where my mouth is. That's why my payouts aren't so huge and extravagant, but I actually win parlays and we actually win money on a consistent basis.
Man? I did better than you last week, except
No,
for
you
my
didn't.
call of
You
the
didn't win a parlay, bitch. You lost. I won. What are you talking about? Did better than me? I won money. How did you do?
Man.
Betting on the Eagles and Islam by decision. Good job, or by submission. You fucked up, AJ.
Man.
You
it was so close, man. That submission. If
yeah,
you would
well,
have
you
had it,
suck. My parlay won because I just picked Islam to win, and I took Justin Tafa to win. Meanwhile, you took Parker Porker, you silly bastard.
No, I didn't.
Okay, you picked Tafa, but still, you probably would have picked Porker had I not told you to pick
No, I didn't go with the Porker. I told you. Take a look at our Listen, man. Our
Here's
picks are
AJ's
on air.
parlay that's not going to win. Blanchfield plus 110. Pauga minus 286. Parisian plus 200. Prackneel plus 100. Miller plus 190. $20 gets you $1,000, $26.04. $1,026.04. $20 gets you $1,000. Over $20 gets you over $1,000.
AJ,
at bet99.com.
just put $2 and you'll
Yeah.
get $100. Come on,
Listen,
come on,
man,
AJ, just put
listen,
two.
it's
$2
listen, man,
for 100, AJ. $20 for 1,000.
Listen, man. These are the fights where the underdogs usually prevail, man. And I'm telling you,
All of
even
them?
Blanchfield is an underdog, and she's going to win. All the rest, man, I'm telling you, this is a card that could come out. This is it, man.
Except
This is a
Parisian.
three-legged
Parisian's
horse.
not winning.
Well, Parisian, man, why?
Because he just isn't. It's the one fight on your parlay that I'm like, nah, no chance, boy. All the other ones are like, yeah, maybe, but no, not Parisian. I don't think so.
All right, man.
AJ, it's a huge parlay. If you actually
All right.
believed in it, you'd bet on it, but you don't believe in it, so you're not going
I
to bet on
believe in it. Who says?
I say, because I know you, and I'm going to ask you, hey, AJ, you bet on it? And you'll be like, no. That's what you always do. No. You never bet on anything, AJ, and you always give these hypothetical predictions that don't come true, and then you say that they did come true, but they didn't, and you lied to everybody, and I'm just trying to tell everybody the
you
truth,
motherfucker.
which is my parlay, pays out $46 on $20, okay? AJ's parlay pays out $1,000 on $20.
You better pray to God. You better pray to your God. You
if
better
you
pray
bet-
to Yahweh, because if I win that
Take it easy.
bet on Saturday, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to not allow you not to hear it for the whole year. We're in what, February?
Well,
So you're going to
yeah.
have all the way till
That's
December
not a
31st to
surprise.
hear
Yeah.
AJ. I'm going to pull out. I'm going to put out.
AJ,
I'm going to send out a plane in the sky with a banner that says AJ was right.
You met Cyril Gant 8 years ago, and you haven't let us hear the end of it. I mean, come on. Everything that you ever do, you're like, let me tell you what I did in 1982. And I'm like, AJ, I wasn't even born. I don't care. And you're like, I was 48 years old.
Listen, I'm going to
like, what
remind you
the
the time that we were at TSN Studios, and I told you.
Jesus.
Listen, I told you Ronda Rousey was going to lose that night. Nobody believed AJ.
Jeez.
You didn't believe, and AJ was right. Listen, man, I could go.
I told you Amanda Nunes was going to lose at Juliana Pena the first time
but then
around.
me and Freddie
how
said
about
that it wasn't going to happen again.
For
it was
months,
a bad night.
I told you.
She had COVID. She had a busted arm. She had all kinds
You're
of problems.
COVID.
It's horrible,
You are
man.
COVID.
Listen, Dave, it's okay. Everybody could win. George lost to,
Yeah, everybody
to
can win
Matsera.
except AJ. So the point
just
is,
say-
AJ's parlay
AJ's
pays
winning,
out
man.
way more than Dave's parlay, but the difference between Dave's parlay and AJ's parlay is this. When you bet $20 on AJ's parlay, you lose $20. When you bet $20 on Dave's parlay, you win 46 and you go home a little bit richer than you were the day before. You don't win $1,000, which is unfortunate, but if you want to just
Angelo's
win
back.
consistent money and be smart about it, you go with Team Dave. You want to reach for the pie in the sky, you go with Team AJ, but you're going to wind up losing all your money every single week because that's what AJ does. Because AJ doesn't actually try to win money for the Ringside Report universe. He's just talking shit, where I'm actually trying to win money for you and for me. And I find when I'm trying to win money for me and I give you the picks that I'm going with, they're more authentic and it's better for you because they're real
give
picks
money. Listen,
from
my
a guy
picks
who's
come out-
actually betting
I
and trying to
really
make
pay.
money doing it rather than a guy like AJ who's just talking nonsense.
That's okay, bud. Let's hope Saturday, man, that you pray to whoever you have to, because if AJ wins, you'll never hear the end of it. I'm coming to your house. You know that, eh? And I'm going to parade out in
No, you're
front.
not.
I'm going to bring out cheerleaders. I'm
I
gonna do
won't be
everything I
home.
can.
I'm going to Elimination Chamber.
Oh, shit. I'll meet you there. I'll go to the limited change. I swear to God, I'll go on the Jumbotron, and I'll be like, Dave, guess what? I'm going to do it. I swear to God. I'll do everything in my power, so that you know that I won.
Cool.
Just
Rush
saying,
the
bud.
ring when Brock is there.
I'll
Yeah,
do it, dude.
good luck. Brock
I've
and
done it
Bobby
before.
Lashley.
Brock.
Guru the Pig wants to know how many people speak fluent French in Montreal. Always been curious about that.
Everybody.
Pretty much everybody.
Pretty much
Or
everybody.
pretty much everybody's bilingual in Montreal. I speak 2 to 3 languages depending on how good my Spanish is on that day. You know?
I'm
Yeah,
proud
pretty
of
much
Chris.
Your
everybody.
Spanish is better than mine.
Yeah. My
Especially
last
Fred.
name
He's a
isn't
Garcia.
Garcia.
Go figure.
My Italian's better
I know
than
how to
AJ's
say
too,
no.
but we don't rub it in.
Yeah, right.
I know how to
Faccio
say
culo
no in
così.
Spanish.
Hey, your ass.
Hey, Guru the Pig's in California, man. Listen,
Shout out.
nice over there, man, and it's freezing over here.
It's actually not freezing over here. It's been all right.
Dude, I haven't been out in 2 days
Yeah.
with this gastro, man.
No, it's been warm.
freezing.
Everything's
Let me
melting.
tell you, man.
It's been like 5 degrees. All the snow melted. It's been
To
fun.
you guys, I'm
Everybody-
fucking dying here. I needed like an IV from Islam. You think it's easy when you're sick? Everything. is cold. I'm
Daytona
cold
this
right
weekend,
now.
man. Winter's over,
yeah.
man.
That's right,
NASCAR's
man.
restarting.
Yeah,
Go
winter's
Kyle
over.
Busch.
If NASCAR restarting is Fred's sign the winter's over. My sign is I saw that the Yankees pitchers and catchers have reported to spring training. I saw Aaron Judge taking some balls at first base, playing a little first
he likes the
base,
balls.
just playing around. The Yankees are in Florida. They're doing baseball stuff.
Houston!
Spring training is starting, and that to me is always the sign of springtime and the winter being almost over. God damn, I
Well,
love
let's
baseball.
hope they make the playoffs this year, Dave.
It's cold here
And
too
you
on
know,
the
you-
Central Coast, boys. Central
What?
Coast.
Central.
What the hell? I thought that was something AJ made up. I didn't know there was a Central Coast.
Hey, man.
Oh,
Central.
here we go.
You see, Dave? Now you
I
owe me an
know.
apology.
Terrible.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
So how you do the
There's
Central
East Coast, there's
Court?
West
Oh,
Coast, and AJ is
It's the
Central Coast.
Central.
No, it was like how did I do it?
See?
I went like this. Central Coast. Central Coast.
I never knew there was a Central Coast, but hey,
You got Tupac,
shout out
you
to
got
you,
Biggie,
Guru
and then
the
you got
Pig.
AJ.
and Brooklyn Lizard and Angelo Contagonis and everybody tuning in here tonight. Patrick C.
Fun show.
Hamilton, you are the super chat leader. Patrick C. Hamilton out in Regina, Saskatchewan. A lot of great
Patty the Patty.
Canadian viewers. Lucy Majarian out in AJ's house watching and enjoying me
Who's gonna see
making
me
fun
in a
of
few
AJ
minutes?
because, somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it, man.
And
If it's
I'll
not
be back.
Angelo,
I'm usually here on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Time with the Pro Wrestling Show, Wrestling Uncensored with Johnny North. But I'm going to be at SmackDown tomorrow night, so I won't be on right after SmackDown. And we usually do a post-show for the WWE pay-per-views, but I'll be at the WWE pay-per-view on Saturday night. So what we're doing here on the Ringside Report Network is Sunday morning at 10 a.m., it's going to be Breakfast with the Boys. A special edition of Wrestling
What?
Uncensored, a recap of the weekend of wrestling in Montreal. I'll be at SmackDown Friday and The Chamber on Saturday, and Johnny will as well. So we'll be recapping all the wrestling action on a special show here on the Ringside Report Network Sunday morning at 10 a.m. It's usually Friday nights at 10 p.m., but this weekend will be Sunday morning at 10 a.m., Breakfast with the Boys, the Wrestling Uncensored Elimination Chamber in Montreal special. So we will have a great time this weekend. If you see me tomorrow and I seem a little weird at SmackDown, that's just the gummies. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate you, and I will see you Sunday morning at 10 a.m. for a special edition of Wrestling Uncensored right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.